Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Kids in Capes design stream. We are down one member of the team. Austin had another actual play for a game that they're working on with the incredibly talented Banana Chan and Amanda Call is how she pronounced it?
Amanda Call.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The Deimos Academy, which is coming to Kickstarter soon. Everybody should check it out. It is a coloring book RPG. Which
I'm so excited.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a horror game, like a coloring book RPG, something like that. I'm just like, what?
Right. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know how that could work. So it must be amazing, right? Like, I mean, also the team. But anyway, yeah, Austin's not able to make it tonight. So we will be proceeding the five of us, and hopefully it won't turn out like that JSA graphic novel, The Nail.
No.
What? I don't get the reference.
It's one where, like, you know, the old thing, like, for want of a nail, a shoe was lost. For want of a shoe, a horse was lost. For want of a horse, a rider was lost, etc. Onto like a kingdom.
Yes.
Oh. Okay. So it's the idea that like one little thing can go wrong, which makes a bigger and bigger thing.
Oh, so like stepping on a butterfly makes a tsunami on the other side of the world.
Right. And it's something where like everybody hates on the Flash. And then the Flash is like either goes away. It's been a long time since I read it. Like
the setup is Kent's his truck gets a flat tire, so they don't go out, so they don't get Superman. That's the whole setup.
Oh, I thought it was the Flash.
No, well, the one I read was they didn't pick up Superman. They got a flat tire. So we don't have to go out tonight. You see the spaceship flying over, they're going crashing into whoever who gets Superman is actually kind of interesting, actually.
Okay. Well, that's much better. I need to reread that.
Was it an Elseworlds thing, or?
Yeah, it's an Elseworlds book, yeah.
Okay.
There's actually a sequel. It's called a second one, The Nail 2, I think, or something.
Yeah.
Originally enough. Yeah.
Interesting.
Which I was actually thinking about. So sidebar, I think we should probably include optional rules for like alternate reality stories if somebody from the group can't make it.
I love that.
Yeah, I like that.
But anyway, so yeah, Austin, as our Superman, is not here, but back next week. So we're going to go around and do our introductions. And tonight, the question of the evening is, who is your dream team superhero pair up, even if they're from different, they would never possibly be together. They're from different worlds. Mm-hmm. So I am Doug Lewandowski. I use he, him pronouns. And my dream team up is Ms. Marvel and Nightcrawler. It could happen, same universe, but I think both of them having such a strong commitment to their faith would be an interesting pair up, and like such a strong moral core.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
Yeah. So Marvel, if you're listening,
I'm sure they're tuned in.
They are. I'm sure.
I'm going to put the over under at 0.5% on that one.
So you're saying there's a chance.
That's right. All right.
I'll let Jim Zub know. I'll tell him to write that story.
Yeah. Yeah. Send him one message a day until he does it. No, that was a fun exchange, and that was good. So let's kick it over to, let's do things in a different order tonight. Nick, over to you.
Oh, okay. My name is Nick Sauer. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a fan of a lot of the Marvel DC crossovers I own and have read a huge percentage of them. My dream team up would actually be, it's going to sound mundane, Man-Thing and Swamp Thing, because I like both the characters, even though they are likely inspired by each other and will likely never meet because of legal reasons about the creations of the characters. But I think it would be cool to actually see the two of them meet.
That would be.
So who is next?
That's up to you.
Oh, Jonathan, I see your face. Let's do you.
All right. I'm Jonathan Gilmore. My pronouns are he, him. And I think probably the team up that I would love to see, it's rough, but maybe Deadpool and who was the DC, the Bud
Ambush Bug. Ambush Bug.
Yeah, Ambush Bud. Yep.
Yep.
Deadpool and Ambush Bud. Just to see them just break reality.
Mhm.
And let's go to Morgan.
Oh yes, hi, I'm Morgan. My pronouns are they, them, she, her interchangeably, and team ups that aren't same universe canon.
They could be. They
It can
could be.
be.
I mean, like it could be. It doesn't have to be. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
We're not. Yeah. Once again, I'm gonna go with Hiro Nakamura from Heroes. I think so.
Mhm.
Yeah. And just because he's a delight, and I think just seeing the energy to match with oh my god, maybe Jubilee from X-Men, just because I think they have like similar like energies. That'd be really exciting.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Nice. Morgan, you muted, so I'm guessing you're through.
Oh yes, take it. Sorry.
Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. I just didn't want to talk over you if you had more to say. Hi, I'm Kristen. I use she, her pronouns. Dream team duo. I would have to say Scarlet Witch and Gamora. Because Scarlet Witch can do all the powerful supernatural stuff. Gamora can do all the badass physical fighting.
That's
and I
right.
think they would get shit done. So
I would agree.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That is awesome. Yeah. Okay, cool. So at the top of the episode, we would just like to thank our mods for doing their tireless work and for doing what you do so that we can do what we do. We absolutely couldn't do it without you, because we would just be sitting here talking to each other, not on a live stream, and that would be fun. But for you, the viewers, that would probably be less exciting. But also thank you to the viewers for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, cool. I think last week's is up on YouTube if you want to check that out. These probably work pretty well as standalones. So if you're like, oh wait, this is the third one? Oh no. You can probably stick around. We might refer to some stuff, but it's not like there are going to be any major spoilers if you watch this and go back and watch the earlier stuff. But yes, thank you for tuning in. And then, participants in the stream, we're sort of working through this process on our own. We might ask each other some questions here. We might bounce some stuff off of each other. The viewers at home, at some point, we might say like, hey, is there anything we forgot? Or is there anything that you'd like, the stuff that we left out, especially as we're talking about tropes tonight. But I would say until then, if you would sort of hold off on like throwing suggestions out there, that would be great, because this is sort of you getting to watch the process. And when we hit a point, when we're ready to, we will definitely be asking for additional feedback. And that's when we'll be looking for ideas, which, like I said, might be tonight if we get to the end of tropes and we're like, we feel like we're missing something. We're like, none of us can think of the right word for this. I did that to my brother earlier today. So I was like, what's the word for this? He's like, I'm a geophysicist and you're an English teacher. And then he gave me the right word. So, yeah. Anything I forgot for our at the top?
Nope, going by the notes, you covered it all.
Sounds good.
We don't have any cursed objects or anything this time around, so I think we're okay.
Yeah, we can talk about that rat all we want.
Yep.
Oh, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about like the snail.
Oh yes, yes.
I'd forgotten about that.
How could you forget that? It's like ingrained in my memory.
Life changing.
Viewers, if you don't know what we are talking about with the snail,
no, you're explaining it now.
No. Just
Watch
at
us.
Mo on Twitter, and they'll get you the video for that. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
well.
not right away, but in due time. All right, so tonight the plan is to jump into character creation. A big part of that is tropes, but also strengths and things like that. And so I think we had decided that the first thing we're going to take a look at is sort of the overall sort of big picture flow of how creation would work. And so we wrote up some stuff. Oh, I accidentally closed the shoot.
I threw from the rule book the overall flow, the overview in the notes as a starting point.
It's there.
And in the spreadsheet that we created for this week, the third tab is creation flow.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
Oh, all right, there we go.
And so, JB, if you want to throw that up so people can take a look at that, if that's a possibility.
Oh, I didn't even realize there's tabs at the bottom.
Creation.
Yeah, I
flow.
didn't either.
Okay. Cool.
The power. The power organization.
Excel is my friend.
Yeah, right. I was talking to Daniel Spencer the other day about like our shared love of Excel. Well, for me, it's Google Drive, but they were talking about automated tasks and how much they're on like a whole nother level with their love of spreadsheets. But so in this one, we put in sort of the flow for bikes and brooms, which are pretty much the same. Broom just adds some stuff in here.
Right.
Is everybody at home able to see that? JB, is that shared?
Yep, it's on the screen.
Awesome, thank you. And then for Teens in Space, the creation process works a bit differently. And so I have that in there as well. So I think everything is there. And then I have some notes at the bottom that I took earlier today about just sort of the movement in here, that like the first part is you creating your personal identity, then you move into a group identity, and then back to a personal identity as influenced by the group. And then Teens in Space does that a little bit differently, where you have sort of both things going on, since there's that assignment of IP to do the shared ship creation. But I'm not sure we're going to have something like the ship in here.
Right.
And
Unless we make a headquarters, which I don't think we really need to. Yeah.
Right. Because if it's a team getting together, you don't need that.
Yeah.
And the group as an entity, we had talked about being probably something that like evolves over time and you sort of build together. So I think we're probably looking at something more like this. And so then I just threw in a draft of what I think this might look like. Just real rough. So we had talked before about like powers and kind of starting there as a way to frame your character. And then moving to trope, and then the trope questions, possibly including your costume, because I think the way a costume is set up says a lot about the character.
Are we making the costumes now before we like? Well, I guess because we are choosing their powers now too. Because if they're like getting their powers like in game, will we choose the costumes then, or like will we just make everything before time?
That's a good point.
And I know we talked a little bit. I don't think we landed on something. We talked a little bit about getting powers, maybe not right away.
Yeah.
So would you pick your power at the beginning, even if you can't use it?
That was something we talked about, and I think that's kind of a cool idea, because then I know, like, as a player, meta knowledge, I know what I'm working towards. But I don't think it has to be that.
I think once maybe we can put in the note like, hey, if you're gonna have like your powers come up like 2 to 3 episodes in, we could probably say like, and this is like what you do real quick. Have a quick conversation with your players and be like, all right, what powers are y'all thinking for your characters? Like maybe like have like some additional like questions. Like what powers are you thinking? Because I don't even think they'll get their costumes yet. Then they'll actually be getting their costumes, maybe building them up, and
yeah, I was. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, I was gonna say, for you mentioned the not necessarily knowing their powers right at the option. This is an option. I'm just throwing it out there because it's something just to show you how old I am. This was Village and Vigilantes game, and one of the conceits in that is you play yourself, which only works good if it's a one-on-one with GM and you, because otherwise things get messy. But the GM that ran it for me, what he did was he didn't tell me what my powers were. I had to sort of figure it out as I went. And that was actually one of the cooler games I ever played. And now I don't know, do you want it's something you might want to consider including it as an option, but I wouldn't make it the main thing. But I just wanted to put that out there as an idea.
I do like that as an option. That sounds really cool. I like the idea of them starting and not having their powers. I think that would help set the game apart a little bit.
Yeah.
But I haven't thought it all the way through to see mechanically gameplay, how does that truly work, and is it smooth enough?
Yeah.
Well, lucky for us, we're kind of making characters in that sort of aspect.
Here
so
we are.
hey, that's what we're doing.
Sorry, Doug. I feel like we're throwing a wrench right in at the beginning.
No, so all of this is just like shorthand. So I 100% agree that like if I were playing this game, I wouldn't want like first thing like my character already has their powers, but I think as a player, I would want to say like my character doesn't have their powers, but they're going to be this.
Mm-hmm.
But what if players don't want to pick yet?
Could we add?
Right. What if they want to play to find out who
That's
their
an
character is?
question, yeah.
I would want to play to find out.
Yeah, same.
So-
I'd be like, yeah, let's play an episode, see how this character feels for me, and then like eventually, whenever it happens, like let's just see what happens.
Mhm.
Could
That's kind of what we were talking about in week 1 about having the trope tied closer to the powers. correct?
Yeah, I think the trope. Yeah, a little bit.
Right. Like suggested powers.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, what if
I think
what
that's
if
a good
it's
idea.
less of suggested powers and more of how the powers manifest?
Mhm. Yeah, and I think the other thing is even if we tell people you're not going to get your power yet, like you won't set your power at the start of the game, if I know I'm going to pick it anyway, I can come in saying I'm going to have teleportation. Like that's just how it's going to happen. When I get them, I'm getting teleportation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fine if people want to do that, but like some people were like myself, and I think Kristen just said like we're like, hey, I don't know, we'll figure that out later.
Right.
Yeah. So having an option for both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really like that. Mhm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Like having like a little nugget, like if they don't want to choose now, this is what we do.
Yeah.
When we get to that point.
And I also really like Nick's idea of like an alternative. Maybe we can have, I don't know how this would work in the book, but you know, a couple alternative ways. If you don't want to pick your power at the beginning, your players can like play to find out.
Mhm.
Or another way of playing is if everyone at the table agrees, then the GM can hold the powers and reveal them for a different type of gameplay. Because those are all, I think, solid ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my only concern is giving too many options up front.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this could be like an appendix thing, like like an appendix. Yeah.
Like maybe like to see for like more options, and then like, hey, if you want to play just a soups only game or like a mundane, and eventually gather your superpowers.
Right.
Yeah.
This is how you do it.
Yeah, like Blades has the full book, right? And then it has a section that is how to change the game. And that's where it talks about how you can change the game if you want to.
Mhm.
So if we decide, we could just add a like alternative ways to play, but it wouldn't have to be like you're saying, Doug, it wouldn't have to be all laid out in character creation and be too confusing or provide too many options.
Can we name it alternative timelines?
Yes.
Yes.
So I think we should probably pick what method we want to work on as the core.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like it's probably start without powers and discover them, correct? Is that where everybody's at?
I like that. And then like if they want to like maybe do like the denim being like, if you want to choose ahead of time, here's some additional questions to ask at character creation or whatever.
And I also think that
Yeah.
we get the best of both worlds that way. Like a player who wants to play to find out doesn't feel like, well, shit, I have to pick my power now. I don't know my character yet.
Yeah.
But somebody
Yeah.
who says, I know I'm going to want this power is
Right.
just going to work their character towards that.
Yeah, I agree.
Love that. Yes. Whoever's writing things down, write things down because
Yeah.
I don't know where to type.
Wasn't that you, Morgan? No.
There's too many tabs. I don't know where to start.
I'm putting notes in the spreadsheet.
Okay, yeah, I definitely don't want to touch that because that if you sniff at it, it will just disappear. Hands are off on this time around.
All right. And so then trope and trope questions, which I don't know why I kept splitting those up, but I did. Oh, actually, I do know, because previously trope questions, if you had asked me 2 days ago, like, when do you answer the trope questions in Kids on Bikes, I would have said after you pick your trope. But turns out that's not actually true. You do that. That's one of the finishing touches.
Yeah,
things.
it's one of the tail end things. I just literally read it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, John, what were we? Why?
It was having just read the rules, it was presented more as a, oh, by the way, if you hadn't done this, you might want to do this now. I think.
Okay.
That's probably it.
Well, that's awkward.
It's fine.
It worked for me.
I mean, listen, Doug, we didn't put rules for bikes in the game at first.
No, we didn't put rules for fears in the game.
Oh yeah, there was like, yeah,
Also
I always like look at that. I'm like, oh yeah, there's fears. Okay, I guess it's just a descriptor. Whatever. Like,
Yeah.
There was a section.
There's a story there.
Because I proofread it.
You're right. Nick knows because he read it. But yeah, there's a story there. But it is now in reprints of it. It is now in there. So, and it is available on the website if you are playing and saying, "I wish I had that." It is on the Hunters Entertainment website.
I printed it out and stuck it in my book.
Yes.
Okay, so should we address at this point how we want powers to come up so we kind of can think about that? Or do we just hand wave that for right now and say we'll figure that out later? Because I kind of like the idea of them coming out from stress or failure.
Mm-hmm.
And like when you essentially critically fail at something the first time.
oh yeah, I love big failures.
Yes.
They lead to good teaching moments.
God, I love that.
Yeah.
And that's super on brand with the way that adversity tokens work. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good point.
My only concern about that system is that if the players just roll good, they don't get powers.
Then you said the challenge is difficult, like ridiculously high, because if it's the first time ever like trying to use a power or like face it, like something like that, it's not gonna be like they're not gonna be used to it. It's gonna be like using the oh god, I have too many books. The spell system for Kids on Brooms, where you put the difficulty like depending on like how big the power is and like like have they done before or like etc. Like
yeah, my thought was like mechanically, if I say, well, I'm going to try to jump between these buildings, and I go to jump and I critically fail, like I find out that I can leap or fly or whatever.
Or if you can't, you find out when you hit the ground, you're invulnerable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right,
or you can break through a building. Like, oh, I meant to jump like to the other roof. Instead, I jumped through that other roof. Like, oops.
Yeah.
Or it turns out you can rewind time. Like right as you're about to hit the ground, you're like, whoop, and back up you go.
But you wonder what might happen here.
I will put notes about that at the end of the notes doc.
Okay.
And maybe if you like just keep not, I don't know. I feel like that could actually be fun if you keep not critically failing. Like, if I have like a D4 in flight and I try to jump across a building and I like explode 4 times and make it, I would feel pretty good still, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we put it at both ends of the spectrum. It's a critical success or a critical failure.
That I think that makes sense actually. I think conceptually.
Is it a choice? Like, what if your very first roll of the game is a a critical success.
Then do you discover your power right then and have
Right
to deal
then.
with it?
Okay.
Unless we're playing for a game that's like pushing that timeline a bit. So I guess
Right.
whenever you want to start that timeline, maybe.
Right.
Which I guess maybe that's a table decision, right? Maybe
Well,
that's
or
one of those
you-
things
after the instigating event, like if it's the quintessential instigating event. I don't know if I've talked about this before. Have I talked about oh God, what was the name of that terrible book? It was a Malibu book. Have I talked about this before?
A Malibu book.
You mentioned you were not fond of Malibu, but I don't.
I was not. No, there was this thing where like a bunch of characters are on a trolley car in San Francisco and it gets struck with lightning. But it's it's magical lightning and they all get powers. Including, I kid you
They all
not,
get trolley-based powers.
a sex robot. I kid you not.
What?
Because thanks representation in the early 90s. But so like whenever your instigating event is after that, then we can do this. If you're holding it for like 3 episodes, like it's not until the storm rolls in. It's not until you all drink the punch at the party. It's not until you're kidnapped by the government or whatever.
Because I think we discussed during the world creation if powers existed already or not.
right.
Yeah, so maybe just decide that you don't use that rule until powers have been established or whatever the event is.
Yeah, the other end of that, Doug, was a book called Ignited. It didn't last too long. Mark Wade was doing this, launching another universe for Humanoids Publishing, if I remember correctly. And the triggering event I thought was great was it was a mass shooting at a school. And the kids immediately developed powers. And so, because of this, the whole series of them, this was before the pandemic, and obviously, and basically people were manifesting powers. I thought that was actually, it was well done. I thought it was a really good idea for triggering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, dealing with kids' fears right there,
Yeah, for sure. Wow.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of the George R.R. Martin Shared World books. He has a novel series with a bunch of other authors. Wild Cards. Yeah.
Where what's Jet Boy slams into the blimp there, and everything goes south from there.
Yeah. Okay, so we want to move the trope questions up to 3 and then strengths, flaws. So I don't think anything else really needs to change here, do they? As far as
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, I think that flow is great.
Okay. So the one thing that I was thinking about while I was working on this is in superhero stuff, flaws usually work really differently than like they do in the way we have it in Kins Bikes. It's purely narrative, and then in Teens and Brooms, there's the mechanical adversity token thing going on. I was wondering if we wanted to make that more like, the character's kryptonite, or like the
fire for John Jones. Yeah.
Right.
Like you actually want to make it a mechanical aspect instead of like a narrative one.
Yeah, and like something that the GM can throw at them and know like this is going to be something that they're really going to have to struggle against.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also probably get more adversity tokens when facing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like
Rebel
that.
student, and they had to get like they had to do really well with school, like.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and it could be like a traditional flaw, like their impulse control. Right,
Mm-hmm.
the speedster might have terrible impulse control, or it could be like, well, right now my superpowers, have a tech suit like Iron Man, but it's only got half an hour of juice right now.
Yeah.
So or Hour Man, right?
Yeah.
Yep, I'm going to flip this over and we have an hour. Let's make it count.
I'm Superman for an hour at a time.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
My parents are real strict, so I can't stay after meet you guys.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So I don't know if we want to mechanize that and narrativize that way. But that was a thought I had.
There's just
No, I
so many
really
options,
think it should be
though.
mechanized. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do too. There's like, I guess we'll just have to figure out like what are the big like ones we want to use and like take with us, because it can go in so many directions. Yes, the quiet, as Doug types.
Everyone's-
Yes, I was just reading through what we have here.
Yeah.
All right, so should we look at the tropes next and then kind of talk about how and try to figure out how that's going to influence the powers?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
All right, so traditionally tropes are just our quick way to establish the baseline for the character, suggested dice allocation, kind of who the character is for the most part, and some questions. Now with this, we want it to have a little bit more of a mechanical hook in the how the powers manifest. If I seem distracted, it's because one of my cats is trying to climb behind the TV.
Oh no.
Wall mounted.
How will this end? We must know.
If we hear a crashing noise and John running, we'll know what
We will
happened.
know.
Yeah, I have a new cat and it's really stupid and clumsy. And it just jumps onto everything and knocks everything down. But this is my big dumb potato old cat.
Oh, I
Kirby.
love potato cats.
Aw.
Kirby, get down. All right, that's better. All right, sorry. So, yeah. So how do we think the tropes should matter mechanically to the powers? Because that was something we talked about quite extensively on the first episode. And let me kind of look back at our notes here. But if anybody has thoughts while I'm reading through, shout out.
I think tropes should have it should be the basis of the character itself, and then the powers are just like an add-on. Like, hey, look at you getting powers and junk. Like,
Yeah.
good for you.
And we talked about having power suggestions for each trope, but then is there also or pick one yourself?
Well, I think if they're gonna organically or more organically come about based on crits, positive and negative, I don't know if we need that.
True. True.
Yeah, I think it's more like, how does the power manifest itself? Like, if I'm
Right, is the bully, their powers usually manifest in some kind of control. So
Right.
like if it is a time-based power, it's time control.
Or it's a strength-based power, and
Mm-hmm.
they just want to smash.
Mm-hmm.
right, or like one of I think one of my favorite Marvel characters conceptually is Pyro, who's a mutant who can control flame but cannot make it.
Yeah.
So he just has to walk around with like flamethrowers on his hands, and then he shoots it out and he makes stuff. So like a character who is like, if you have a firepower, that would make more sense for like a manipulative, like controlling character, whereas like instantaneously producing flames would make more sense for a character who's like, pun intended, like a hothead and like, prone to outbursts and stuff like that. And so
Yeah.
like that's kind of what we're talking about in terms of how tropes manifest, right, John?
Yeah, I think so.
What if your mathlete wants to be super strong?
Oh, like almost like a super soldier sort of like aspect, not with like of course not getting injected and stuff, but like wasn't Steve Rogers like just your small type of guy, and then
Yeah.
He can do this all day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that works. It's just, how does that super strength manifest? Is it
Mhm.
because they're timid? Is it more?
I think that's honestly up to the players,
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say the same.
because I don't, people's brains work in brilliant ways, and like just what they can come up with and how they can connect it to a power. It's just like, whoa.
Right. And like in brooms, we have the thing about your familiar. Like, is it a reflection of who you are and who you're comfortable being? Is it a reflection of what you know is at your core, but you're not comfortable with? Is it a reflection? Do you not think this represents you, but find out over time that it does? I think the powers could work the same way, that it's like, I have trouble controlling my emotions and I'm angry all the time, but you're telling me I can control fire. I can't control like when I do my homework. Or yeah, this makes total sense. I manipulate people all the time. So of course I can manipulate flame.
Right. So then do we suggest some powers that work with Mathlete that would be, intelligence related, but then also something opposite? Or not opposite, but also something like super strength that isn't such an obvious match? Is that the solution?
Like if people have choice paralysis of like what they want to do.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, I think we want to balance it between the two a little bit, because we do tend to have a lot of new players playing
Mhm.
these games.
And also too, like we should just remind, like I put somewhere, it'd be like, hey, you are brand new baby superheroes. This is brand new powers. You're not gonna be able to control time and space yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You probably will burn out if you run too fast within like a minute.
Mhm. Yeah, I think when we're talking about, because I think we agreed we're not going to do like an exhaustive list of powers.
Right.
Right.
But like having some options there for like a couple different ways this could go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and especially people are running a one shot too. Like it'll be
Mhm.
really helpful to be
Yeah.
like, hey, boop, 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 boop. All right, got it. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
But then making it clear in there, like it can be whatever you want, but we would suggest if it's, I've been using this, like control flame or a flame power, you can
Yeah.
create a ball of flame the size of your fist.
Mhm.
You can create, you can shape flame into, but only shaping something the size of like a 1 by 1 by 1 cube or whatever, right? Like we're putting limits on it that
this
way.
is
So
how
that,
much you got right now. This is all you
Right.
know how to do.
right. And then you
Right.
expand it over time. But
Yeah.
that way, if they come up with something new, if they're like, if we don't have time control in the list, they're like, yeah, I can go back and kill Hitler now.
Mm.
So let's go
Yeah.
do that.
Well, so do we? Because that really plays into like heroes a lot. Like when Hero really tries to like push his powers of time travel, like things go weird. Do we want to kind of riff on the magic system for the powers?
I love that. Like if someone pushes a little too hard, they kind of make things wobbly
like-
around them.
Yeah, like if your power is time manipulation, like you can constantly try to come up with new ways to use that.
However,
Right. But with a big trade-off.
yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And if you want to try to go back and, if the player's like, well, this is my first time traveling, time to go kill Hitler. Like, sure, but that's going to be like a difficulty 22.
Exactly. Yeah. The stakes have to be really high.
Mhm.
And this is not a chance where you can use diversity tokens. I'm sorry.
You're right. Yeah, if we do that, I think we need to amp up the magic system a bit, make it a little bit more difficult.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know we had talked about in week 1 having a die that worked as a negative. Let me try to find that note.
I think
What?
the saying with great power comes great responsibility, therefore
Right.
it should be.
Yeah.
Didn't we talk about, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no.
Didn't we talk about like trying to hit like a sweet spot, and if you go too far, your power goes out of your control, and if you don't go far enough, it doesn't work? Or am I
love that.
imagining that?
Yeah.
I-
Like a meter. We talked about that.
I think
Yeah.
oh yeah, we did talk. I was like, I think we talked about that. I wasn't sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
I love that. Like if they
Power's
explode
going
too much.
too good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're going haywire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like having more of a target system. Yeah, I think that's really good. And that works the way that the skill checks already work a little bit.
Right.
I think we just have a separate chart for powers skill checks.
Well, like the separate chart for the spells and
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, instead of using that one history point as our thing, can we say that we're trying to like change when locomotive has been existed?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Like we're trying to like make trains.
Earlier than they were
Earlier.
actually invented.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been very useful for folks. Okay, so I know we're going to do suggestions, right? So you pick up the mathlete. That's the top one on the trope list. That's why I keep picking it. But you want to be a brilliant mathlete. We have some suggestions for you. X number, right? 3 or 4 different powers, or you can choose for yourself.
I like 3. 3 is like enough without being overwhelming.
That's fair.
Yeah, 3 suggestions.
Yeah. Okay.
So the first one would be like obviously like super smarts. The other one would be like super soldier, super strength, or whatever we want to call it. That's not riffing off Marvel.
Yeah.
I think, and don't let me kill the idea, but I think, I don't know. I guess if they're just suggestions, that's fine. I don't want to limit players.
No, that's what we're saying. It was because if they're doing a one shot and they got to choose fast, they're like,
Yeah.
there's some ideas. And I don't want to limit players either.
There's one of the games where there's a guidance that says, we recommend doing this, not that it's a hard, I can't remember
Yeah.
specifically it is, but I remember reading that.
Yep.
And even if we frame it as like, you're free to do whatever you want, but if you're having trouble, if you don't have a sense of what it would be, here are 3 suggestions, then it's very clear. If I'm like, dude, my science guy can teleport. I've always wanted to teleport.
Yeah.
Then it's not on the list. Well, that's okay. I always wanted to teleport. We're teleporting.
Yeah. It's kind of like with Monster Hearts, whenever, or like any sort of PBTA game where they offer names for you. You can either pick from the list or you can just like choose your own thing.
Yeah, I appreciate suggestions. Blade says that as well.
Yeah, they do.
You can have your special abilities, but if you're having trouble choosing, just pick the top one because it's solid.
It's like the most efficient one for that one. Or
right.
The most like cliche one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 3 suggestions. And then, but also open.
And do we want to use how do we explain the how your powers manifest thing? Because beyond choosing your power, like there's still a lot of different ways.
I mean, that's when we're keeping that open as well. Like it could be a science explosion, it could be some weird supernatural thing, it could be just a natural, like the moon eclipsing
Well,
a certain way. Yeah.
To loop back to world building, if it's going to be a big event, like, I keep saying the white event, and again, sorry, but it's like the easy one. Don't read New Universe. But if it's going to be, it shouldn't that be part of world building that the players should jointly agree there should be that. So, did we cover that in world building? I don't remember.
I thought we
did.
Yeah.
I feel like it was if superpowers or superheroes do not exist in your world, then kind of decide on the event, right? What's the event that's going to?
I just want to make sure I want to make sure we cover because make sure we covered it. That's all.
Yeah, I think we did. And then if superheroes do exist, I'm not sure we covered that. It could be something like Invincible, right? Where if you already know you're going to be getting your powers, it's just when is the moment that you're getting them. It doesn't have to be that worldwide or town-wide event.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it may take some time for things to sink in too. So maybe that worldwide event does happen, but your cells haven't mutated fully or like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody grows at a different time. So like some people will get them right away. Some people will get them like a month later.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Some people have it suppressed, like the Umbrella Academy.
Oh, the Umbrella Academy.
I
Yes.
felt so sorry for her.
Mhm.
All right. So do we want to take a look at the list of tropes here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So currently there are 25. I think there are too many.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
But I just dumped in everything. And then added a few more that I thought might be appropriate for capes.
Okay, the one right at the bottom, the overshadow sibling, is so good.
Yeah, we
That's
get
good.
that one. That was great. I was going to say to agree that that's good.
Okay.
Been working on that. That's solid.
So we'll hold that one.
And that's only 9 more than we had in the base game.
Is it really?
Yeah, there's 16 in the deluxe edition.
I mean, the more tropes, the better.
I mean, I love choices.
Yeah.
I think as long as there's not overlap here, I don't think
for
it's
sure.
horrible.
Yeah.
And we're famous now, so we can do whatever we want. This is our green M&Ms, man.
I agree
25 tropes.
I agree with the Legend Reborn comment. It seems about being ridiculously niche.
Yeah.
So
right.
you want to cut one? There's I would have voted first candidate.
Strike that one.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does feel like, oh, you're just so and so's kid. Huh.
Yeah, no pressure, right?
No
Right.
pressure.
Well, and I think that could be covered by the heir apparent.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how about overshadowed family member?
Oh, I love that.
Because then it's not just
Yeah,
sibling,
that's
it could
good.
be-
I like that. Yeah. It's
Oh
more-
yeah, overshadow family member, like just like being like, oh, your dad is
Mhm.
so and so.
It covers more territory. Yeah.
That does cover more. Yeah.
All right. So then we can ditch heir apparent.
What's heir apparent? Oh, like they're supposed to take on like the next role or something? Or?
Yeah, like it's well, Invincible would be a good example,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like Invincible is very clearly like Omni-Man's heir apparent.
Look, I'm still watching Justice League season 1, so
that's totally clear first episode. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so that maybe wraps up both of those, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Oh, what just happened? Oh, we're moving.
I
They
moved
got-
those 2 down.
they got yeeted.
Okay.
I did not delete them. I saved them.
I said yeet, not delete.
I like
that-
not of this world.
Okay.
Of course you do, Kristen. It's very outsider from the Mask games, or like very Miss Martian, or like any
Yeah.
character that comes in. Yeah.
So that's also like my nod. I don't know how many of you watched the Tick animated TV show when it was on, but one of my favorite villains there is Toon La, not of this world, who is in love with a guy. Yeah. Anyway, without diving too far down, it's fantastic. If you haven't watched the Tick cartoon show, find it, watch it. It's one of the weirdest things Fox ever let people air.
The second live action show was really good too.
Yeah. That was the one. I've seen that in its entirety.
Skip the first one.
The Amazon one.
Yeah, the Amazon one was good.
Yeah.
It
Don't watch
lost me in the
it.
second season. I don't know why, but anyway.
I identify as a male boat.
And so I do think we are missing some bites one though, because I counted 16. I'm gonna run through the book real quick. And
I
make
think
sure.
Doug didn't take in the adult ones that
I
could
took-
be missing.
Yeah, I took some out. So I took out
Blue
I
collar
took it-
worker.
I took out blue collar worker. I took out
Which I would kind of like in here, honestly, because like, what if you have the story where like you have a kid from like the wrong side of the tracks who like couldn't get anything right, and suddenly has these powers, and he's like, oh no, what do I do with them? And like,
Yeah, I think
So-
I think the adult tropes are still important because you can play adult characters.
I don't want to though.
so
I
I
understand, but I don't want them.
so I combined those two together. If we rename the young provider as family's protector, then like the way you're
Oh.
protecting your family could be
Mm-hmm.
working
Right.
this job that I hate.
Right. Yeah.
So are we good with that one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I like
That's
the
cool.
renaming of that. Yeah, and you said that's a mix between what now?
Young
That's
provider and blue collar worker.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, can you add that just so we know what the merger is?
The merger.
Yep.
The merger.
Can we talk about bully for a second?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Why?
Why? Oh, why is it even like a trope?
Why do we have bully? I'm sure Doug and John, you have a brilliant reason I can't think of. So why do we have bully as a trope?
Because the redemption story can be interesting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
redemption.
Okay.
Yeah. That's literally what I thought of when I saw it.
I do love redemption arc, but I
I mean,
think
it's very much the older brother in Goonies, right?
Mhm.
or like was the babysitter from Stranger Things?
Mhm.
Was
Yeah.
he much of a bully? He wasn't much of a
Steve.
bully.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was something.
Something.
Yeah, and so in the renaming, and I don't know if this goes far enough, but like former bully, just to make it clear that like they're no longer. But yeah,
Peaked in high school.
right, right. Like looking back, that's something that like I've heard a couple people say that's one of the two tropes that they just tell players you're not allowed to choose this one. You can't choose that one, and loner weirdo is also one that
Really?
because then people and that's actually true. The two games I played where somebody chose that, they were like, I don't know, I'm on my own, I'm a loner, and I was like, great, have fun sitting at home.
Yeah.
They were like,
Good point.
well, there's no narrative reason. I was like, then come up with one. They were like, that's not what my character would do. I was like, then your character can stay home and watch fucking TV. Like,
That's not what your character do, but what about you?
Right,
What do you?
Right.
Yeah.
You are in the driver's seat.
Right.
You can like figure out where they're going.
Yeah.
you're saying no, but you want the yes and.
Yes, and.
So we didn't list Scout in here, and I don't know if that's one that we want to.
That was a miss.
Okay.
I
I can
just
still
missed
see
that.
Scout. Well, there's Survivor. There's a Survivor one in there. That's well, it's Vengeful Survivor, not it's Scout, but it could have Scout influences in it if it's a Survivor like character.
Yeah, I think Scout as like a. So the Haunted Survivor to me feels a little bit different than like.
No, there's two different ones. There's Haunted Survivor that's in Brooms, and then there's one written for the possibility for Capes called Vengeful Survivor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, why is this not in? Okay, alphabetical order per each book.
Um,
Doug.
Oh,
wow.
I'm so sorry.
It's being graded. The teacher's being graded. Wow.
Is
I
my
love
writing
it.
is my writing all of this up inconvenient for you?
No, it's just it's not inconvenient. It's just
Can-
I don't know. It's
I'm having trouble with bored millionaire, and it's also reclusive eccentric, aren't they? I mean, can they be combined into one thing? And I'm having trouble with bored millionaire.
I don't like the wording of born millionaire. I think I know where you're getting at, where it's like a rich kid, right?
Mhm.
I think it's probably more like oh, what do we call? What are rich kids?
Like
What, other than spoiler?
wealthy debutante.
So I'm gonna, to make Morgan happy, I'm gonna sort this.
No,
real-
it's
no,
fine.
It's easy. Just
It's fine.
nobody type anything for like 10 seconds.
Hands are off.
Let's see.
This is all on you, Morgan.
We'll
Look,
pause
and
the stream so Doug can reorder.
Like, I got it if you want.
No, I got it.
It'll be easier just to like read through instead of being like, okay, cool. We can always do some posts, so it doesn't have to be now. It just has to be on the
yeah.
print.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to do this the way I want
So
You just want it sorted by trope, Doug?
to. Almost. I want it sorted. That didn't work at all.
So there's an undo button, right?
Oh, here it is.
Probably my favorite button in Excel. It's like, whoa, didn't like that result.
Yep.
What's that sorted by? Random?
oh, I got an idea for the rich
Wait,
kid.
what happened here? Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
I'm gonna-
worse
I'm
in
gonna
every
hold on to
way.
it. I'm not even looking right now. I was busy looking at terms. Just forget it. Just go back.
No, hold on. I'm
No.
almost there. Boom, there we go.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. So maybe instead of being called like the bored millionaire, it could be like well, it's got to be like a dot. So the silver spoon. I don't know. Like
Prep school, something. I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here.
I like Silver Spoon.
Yeah, that's cool.
But how do we word that?
Yeah, I for some reason thought we had Silver Spoon in the base game, but we don't.
Note to self, though.
Put it in the base. Maybe if we do some supplements later, be like,
Yeah,
here's
right.
some more stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like a list of tropes that we missed, like the goody goody.
The goody goody. I love a goody goody.
Well, then you should listen to Christmastide, Ohio.
Oh,
You
tell me more
should.
about them.
It's a great podcast. It's a Christmas themed kids on bikes anthology podcast. Christmastide,
What?
Ohio.
Find it all. Do I find it all where I could ever listen to my podcast?
Yes, your favorite podcatcher. That's where you can find it.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Doug.
No
and
problem.
Morgan.
All right. So we're switching the brilliant mathlete to science geek, right?
Cool.
I love that. Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah.
Peter
And
Um,
then, and maybe instead of former bully, maybe like reformed bully, like
Love it.
yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because sometimes they're not reformed yet.
Too much foreshadowing and too much presaging there. Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I understand the intention, though. Not reluctant bully. That's not really.
I mean, would that get covered under reluctant ally or unlikely ally?
Could be.
Because then that could come up in the questions. Like one of the questions for unlikely ally in Kids on Brooms is, why is it surprising that you're working with this group? Well, I used to pick on the science geek until he pushed me out of the way of a trolley car or whatever. Yeah. And
So
especially if we're trying
what
to
happened
trim.
with you and trolley cars? Is there something you just
Is it story time, Doug?
No, that's just, well, I was almost hit by a train one time.
Seriously?
What?
Yeah, so the very short version of the story is the first time I went to Spain with now my wife, girlfriend at the time, we went with my dad and my brother, and I got like unbelievably sick because it's me. And well, my wife brought it with her, and then I caught it, and then my brother caught it. But anyway, while I had it, my dad and my brother like could not have been less sympathetic.
Oh, geez.
They were just like, look, we already like spent one day not doing like not jumping from one city to the next because this girl you brought with you was sick. We're going to the Guggenheim and you can like sleep on the floor in the Guggenheim, which I did. And then as we're like walking back to our like hostel to like pick up our stuff, I'm like loopy out of it. And my wife is like, Doug, Jesus, and like yanks me out of the way. And then like, not like a second later, but like 10 seconds later, a train goes by.
Oh, jeez.
And I was like, I didn't even see that. She's like, So.
But so a bit of trivia. Does anyone know what the name of the first train steam engine ever built was? It's called Stephenson's Rocket. Do you know what was the first train to cause a fatality from someone getting hit by a train? Stephenson's Rocket.
Stevenson's Rocket. Yeah. I have plenty of time before that gets. Right.
So apparently, just are we talking about bullies right now or weirdos? Because I got words for both of them.
Go for it.
For bullies, there are people that are still quote unquote a bully at the start of the show and then eventually have their arc.
Mm-hmm.
Like Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender, or
Best redemption arc.
It's the best redemption arc.
Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet. I'm still I still haven't I'm only like episode 6 of season 1 still. So like,
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a good redemption arc. It's a good example.
I'm okay with bullies because as long as we know that there will be that instead of them going complete villain,
Like Flash Thompson, yeah.
I think them having a setup in the beginning, like, hey, this is a team effort, which goes into the other thing about the loner thing. So, because it was noted as well, Raven and Robin were both, loners, but they eventually joined the team because they knew it was going to be a team thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think having the team in mind whenever doing character design, they should be okay for either of those tropes.
Yeah, I think we just maybe address that.
Yeah, and I think for both of those, they could be unlikely allies. Like that was one of the things when we were working on brooms that we talked about with the loner weirdo thing. Like they could be an unlikely ally because they keep to themselves and they never want to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
Right. But it makes it clear, like the framing of that, because I think that was the name that we struggled the most with brooms tropes, because we wanted to leave room for outsiders, but make it clear that you were still going to be part of this group. And so the ally thing puts it on there. But I don't know, is everybody comfortable with that? Or
I think it's close enough that it's fine. I mean, I've had some really good experiences with players playing that part well.
Yeah.
But I think
okay.
if they could still play that part, it'll be fine.
I like leaving it on the table for now and maybe coming back to it later. Like putting in a maybe pile, if we have a maybe pile. And
Sure.
then like, yeah.
And so that's for where did that go?
Oh, I just put it back.
For the loner weirdo, you mean, Morgan?
For both bully and loner weirdo, yeah. Because I think if they discuss as like a table, like, hey, even though you're gonna have these arcs that aren't gonna be like likely like teammates, eventually are gonna come together in the end and like do the thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we could note that somewhere for bully, I would hate to enter a game with people I don't know, have someone pick bully, not play it right, and then
Yeah,
now
like maybe
my
like maybe
fun
like a
and safety is
footnote.
compromised at the table, right?
Maybe like a footnote at the bottom of it, like if you're playing this, please note this is for teamwork only.
And then it's up to each player in each table, right? Definitely, we can't control everything. I just think if we put a little blurb in there, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's something we can leave and then we can just talk about and refine later.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, John, if you've had good experiences with it, right? So
yeah. I'm not. It's not a. It's not a hill that I'm willing to die on. So I'm fine cutting it.
Same. No, I don't think we should get stuck on it. I think we should. Yeah.
Maybe does Flyboy still fit?
What is Flyboy like a show off sort of person? Like
in space, it's like a pilot, somebody who's like a hot shot.
So like very like egotist.
So maybe we change it to hot shot instead of Flyboy.
Yeah, because I was like, what does that mean?
Or showboat.
Ooh, I like showboat.
Yeah, showboat works.
The showboat.
Yeah, showboat's good.
Showboat.
Flyboy makes me think specifically of space.
I just don't know what it is. I'm like, like if you're like me, I'm like, what does that mean? Googling Flyboy, and then probably pull up space. So like,
the non-space one would be Tom Cruise in Top Gun.
Mm-hmm.
I think of the guy who could fly the helicopter in the original Dawn of the Dead, because that was his nickname. But it's the Top Gun things is right on the money.
Yeah.
And how do we feel about Scoundrel if we're starting in, essentially modern or, in the 80s or 90s or whenever we decide to set our adventure? Does Scoundrel still work?
What would it be? Just like someone who's like Just thinking about modern era, like how would y'all think a scoundrel would look like? Would it be just like the kid who always gets in trouble and
Mhm.
like, picking locks, doing graffiti?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Are we
Yeah,
wanting
what's
to
a better
rename?
name for it?
Yeah, I was just thinking like maybe that's not a good name for him then, but like
Misunderstood scoundrel, misunderstood.
Punk?
That
You
could
just-
work.
You could just call them misunderstood, right? Do you have to have a second term there, or?
yeah, like the scout, the wannabe, the misunderstood.
For consistency, I'd love to get each of these to adjective noun,
Okay.
or close to it. Like not of this world doesn't quite fit, but
That's the only one that's
Yeah.
out of the
Yeah.
title.
well, and that actually that works if it's they're the only one who aren't from this planet.
Oh, how dare they?
Yeah, maybe
Also,
misunderstood
overshadowed by
punk.
family member is another one too. That's another like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
We could do
think Jonathan's got
We
it.
can actually just call that overshadowed, shadowed maybe. Like,
trickster.
oh,
I thought we were going to do overshadowed relative or something like that.
Or family member. Yeah.
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 We'll keep it misunderstood punk right now, and then I guess we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% set on it, but like, it's better than scoundrel. I love. The
I
idea
like
of
it. I like it
conspiracy-
as a. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to move on to something else. So
I like it as a fan of the punk aesthetic.
I do too, but also it could be like a goth kid,
Yeah.
and like,
Mhm.
yeah, or like maybe it's set in the early 2000s and the emo kid
Mhm.
who listens to My Kim and like all that stuff. What was another band from that era? Fall Out Boy? Yeah, that one.
All their powers are emotion based.
Yo, so actually, funny story. So real quick,
Speaking of die that I mentioned earlier. Sorry, Morgan.
okay, so do y'all remember the show Who Wants to Be a Superhero? But that was like ran by Stan Lee, and it was like a competition show about like becoming Stan Lee's next big superhero comic book person.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really wanted to sign up for season 3, and so I actually designed a character costume and like all that stuff.
Seriously?
Oh, that's cool.
And I actually have photos of me from like
Yes!
Comic-Con in 2007, like wearing my outfit at like cons. I'll share
Can
it
you-
later.
Okay.
I'll share it later, but like, yeah. So I actually had a character. Her name was Riff. And she basically was like running outside with her iPod. Like, this is just, you can tell my age.
I love everything about this.
She was running out with her iPod and like she got struck by lightning, and like all her powers are now music based. So like if she's listening to heavy metal, she's like a lot stronger. Or she's ska, she's like super fast.
And her drawback is her iPod's permanently stuck on shuffle.
That, or if she loses it, she's just a normal person.
Obviously,
I love it.
I'll focus on champions terms.
I love that so much.
So I don't know why. It was early 2000s. That's why, or mid 2000s. If I have the time to find the photos, I'll share with the group. But
I'm bummed that I've known you for as long as I have, and I never knew that.
this is from college. I don't think I talked about college a lot.
Yeah, that's fair. I think we all don't, for good reason.
Yeah.
In the JB mentioned in the chat, they wanted to remind us that Raven and Robin were both loner weirdos and still managed to be part of the team.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Are we keeping loner weirdo?
They're on the maybe docket.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there's the baby doc. I was like, where is it? Oh, there it is.
So
yeah,
are there?
I think this list is good.
There are a couple other I'd like to talk about, but
Okay.
Like popular kid, wouldn't that mix in with Silver Spoon? Or do you think we keep
No,
those as
because you
two
could be
separate
rich
things?
and unpopular.
This is true.
Yeah.
What about reclusive eccentric?
Oh, was that the loner weirdo? That feels
Aren't they the same? No, they're not the same.
similar.
yeah, I think that's an adult trope in Kids on Bikes.
Oh yeah,
Doesn't-
it is. I
doesn't
played that
cover
trope. Yeah.
Doesn't that cover conspiracy theorists as well?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, so why don't we just take that out and put loner weirdo in its space?
Okay.
I'd like to keep loner weirdo in the maybe pile for right now.
Okay, so just take
Okay.
reclusive eccentric just out
Should we
altogether.
move? Yeah, is
sorry,
that
done.
removed?
And it's
or...
done.
Okay, we're not talking about it anymore.
It's
No,
gone.
sorry. I thought we decided. Let's go back to it. Control.
No. I was only going to say, do we want to move it to the maybe pile or removed? I honestly don't have a preference on that.
I
think
think
removed is fine.
it can kick rocks.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yep. Let's
Get out of here.
I haven't heard that in a while. Let's go.
Oh no, my brain's going in weird places right now. Funny sidekick, always love. I'm just going down the list now, just so
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's good.
Go in order. Because we talked about science geek and conspiracy. Do we want to keep conspiracy theorists? Because I think that'd be fantastic to have, like in a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
No,
that'd
I
be
think
really
it's
great. Yeah. So funny sidekick. Because we already talked about those three. Oh God, where? Oh, thank
What
you.
did you just do?
Alphabetalized. That's what happened.
I don't want Morgan to yell at me again.
I wasn't yelling. I was just bouncing around. Anywho, where was I? Family protector, conspiracy theories we talked about. Funny sidekick, great, perfect, love it. Keep it in. Because it could be just like their buddy that's just trying to, help them out. But question then.
Mhm.
When they're making character designs and they're going to get the powers like halfway through, I guess we got a note being like, hey, as a sidekick, you will. Is it going to be a non-powered sidekick or is it going to be like a.
Maybe sidekick is a loaded
It's the
term
wrong-
with
yeah.
superheroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we go for more of the traditional class clown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Laidback slacker. I also enjoyed that.
Wadowski.
What? Oh, salud. Where are we? Oh, popular kid. I think we said that's fine.
Yep.
Science geek. We talked about scout. Scout. And can we make it 2 words?
Crap, I can't remember the Boy Scout or the Scouts pledge.
Oh.
Loyal,
On
my honor.
trustworthy.
Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. I think.
Not at all surprised you did that.
Yeah, you got it.
Once an eagle, always an eagle.
I was 1 merit badge away from Eagle, and if I'd gotten it, I would have been the fastest person in the history of Scouts to get Eagle.
Wow.
Cool.
Nice.
Because I joined when I was 16, and I almost had Eagle by 18.
Mm.
1 badge short, though. So
Maybe the honorable scout?
Yeah.
honorable, yeah.
Oh, that's so
Whatever
good.
it was, yeah.
Because you want a double word, so
Yeah.
what is wannabe? Like they want to be superpowers, but they can't.
Well,
No.
in Kids on Bites, it's like the. Oh, go ahead. Done.
No, go for it. Go for it.
I mean, it's the kid who tries too hard, right? Is that?
Yeah.
w-
Yeah. The one who like wants to be part of the popular kids or the group or whatever.
Hanger on.
Oh,
Yeah.
I also speaking of like ones I didn't see, the Plastic Beauty's not in here.
Yes, I dropped that one out
Okay, that's
Um,
fair.
because I figured that could go under popular kid, and I also think some of the implications of that are problematic.
Yeah,
yeah,
it could
back
also
over.
probably go underneath Silver Spoon too. That's
Yeah,
fine.
true.
Yeah, I think it's better split like that.
Hopeful wannabe. You want to add an adjective?
Oh, hopeful wannabe. I like wannabe.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the idea of the trope. I'm not attached to the name, but I like the idea of someone who wants to try to fit in.
Mhm.
Then maybe they get their superpower. How does that change their confidence? How does that change their desire to fit in?
What's a single adjective for someone who tries too hard?
Yeah.
Other than try hard,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, starting to think of a single word one.
cinnamon.
Maybe this-
persistent wannabe. I don't know. That's not good.
Yeah.
Endeavor, seek. I'm
Twitch
busy.
chat. What you got for us? I
Oh,
think this
yeah.
might be a
Yeah,
might be a
name
good
this
time to
one.
phone a friend.
All right, we're phoning a friend. Do we have sound effects for that, JB?
Yeah. Somebody
There we
mentioned
go.
poser
Yep.
We like poser.
and
Okay.
try hard. Yeah.
So wannabe poser.
I feel like it's like a
It's maybe redundant.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that word? I'm looking at
Okay,
synonyms
Twitch.
right now.
Now you're quiet.
We love our viewers, and we're so glad that you're here.
Oh, 100%. They've been putting some great stuff in here. Absolutely. I'm just
Yeah.
teasing. I mean, we can, it's like when we got a little hung up on bully and loner, maybe we just put a pin in it
Yeah.
and we come back to it so we're not too hung up, and maybe talking about other things will
Yeah.
Well,
for us.
I guess-
Do we want to take our quick break now? We're at about the halfway mark. Maybe in this break, we'll all come up with something.
Something
Yeah.
brilliant. No pressure.
No pressure.
yeah, we got this.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
Aspiring wannabe.
Ooh, aspiring is good.
Aspiring's good, Nick.
All right. Let's
Yeah,
do
so
unaspiring.
Nick didn't even need the break. He's like, I don't need a break.
Just the promise of a break was enough for Nick.
Break was enough.
All right.
But break time does sound good nonetheless.
Yeah, we can take a break.
We'll see you in 5 minutes.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's me. I bet you thought you were rid of me. Ha! Tricks you. We're talking about character creations. Tropes?
Tropes.
Tropes.
Don't know her. I mean, yes, I do. I know her very well.
All right. So yeah, during the break, we were talking about other stuff possibly for the aspiring wannabe. Did we settle on one? That's a no.
I
Nope.
don't think so.
No.
Chat had lots of good suggestions, though.
Yeah. Do we just want to put a pin in that then?
Let's put a pin in it. I feel like we're
Yeah.
getting hung up on it.
Want to be.
I like overeager.
I
think
like
that's a good
overeager.
description.
Yeah.
Over eager wannabe. Okay, I mean it's
Oh,
long, but it's
okay.
fine.
So we want 2 words.
Yes. 2 words.
Okay.
I mean,
Just
over
eager.
here is like
I
one
like
word.
just overeager.
Yeah, just make it one word.
But I thought Doug was saying no.
But Doug, our teacher, has said no.
Well-
The assignment is.
So, well, okay. So I think we either need to be like pretty close to consistent with it or not consistent at all, right? Like,
Yeah.
Isn't pretty close to consistent, not consistent at all?
Yeah.
Sure.
well, like we talked about the not of this world, like as the only alien character, like they have the one that doesn't fit the convention. There's kind of like a wink, haha to that. Like,
Hmm.
and
Mhm.
anyway,
Well,
this is
can we shorten up overshadowed family member?
I believe we can. I think.
I think it is. I think it's overshadowed relative.
Yeah.
It's oh yeah, it's just not changed.
I think that's fine.
Dude.
Over eager wannabe. I'm just thinking of syllables and like
Yeah.
I guess
I like that.
it's what it is in my mouth, right? In my mouth, when you say overeager wannabe, there's like 2 things happening. Like, I don't think necessarily someone that is overeager is always a quote unquote wannabe, and like what we're trying to say there. Like, you can be someone who is like a wannabe, right? Is someone who's trying to fit in, but they are not like being true to their vibe. They're trying to fit the vibe of there's a superhero that's like Robin pretending to be Batman, or a Robin trying to be like Superman. Like, that's not Robin's vibe. Like, even Robin trying to be Batman, that's not like Dick Grayson Robin's vibe. His vibe is Nightwing, which is slightly different. But like someone who's overeager could be like Miss Martian and Young Justice is overeager. So I think it's like 2 different tropes we're trying to put into one trope to fit into the name.
Okay, so
I would
the
actually
trope
say,
we-
based on what I've
Okay.
seen, like she's a perfect example of the overeager wannabe. Like that's in terms of her as like her personality.
trying to fit
she's-
in.
Yeah.
Ambitious wannabe?
Ambitious wannabe.
Yeah, that's from Phoenix
Ambitious.
Goth in the chat.
Ambitious wannabe is was pretty
Yeah.
good, chat.
It's pretty
Not-
good, not gonna lie.
That's
Well
pretty good.
done, chat.
Remember what we said at the top, but that's pretty good.
Well, we did ask. We did ask.
We did ask, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Done.
Got him.
So the next one,
Oh no, I lost my spot.
Brutish jock / daring wannabe or
Daring
daring
athlete.
athlete.
yeah, in Brooms we called it the daring athlete to get rid of some of the negative connotations of brutish and jock.
I liked daring athlete. Were you gonna say the
Yeah.
opposite, Morgan?
No, there's like a little like saying maybe hot shot athlete
Yeah.
in the changes.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I like that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Got him one. This is easy.
Haunted survivor, and so there's two survivors in here. There's a haunted survivor and a vengeful survivor.
Probably redundant.
Yeah, and also with the honorable scout, like they kind of overlap, but not really. But also at the same time, they kind of do. Like,
You think so?
well,
which one?
I guess if you're looking at survivor as like surviving in the wilderness versus a scout, like. But if you're thinking of like if you're thinking of
somebody
survivor
who
as
survived something trouble.
Yeah.
yeah, but English is hard, so.
Yeah, I was like, I wouldn't see those the same at all. But that's why I wanted you to say more words, because I would never think like the two survivor ones there's some working there, but I wouldn't think about scout fitting into that at all.
I don't know. Just I guess the word survivor. Just some people will see it as like because Escape from Down Island has the survivor like, and someone really made our game like survivor. So Kristen, no, it's Pepperidge Farm remembers.
The editor always remembers the audio. What are we trying to Doug, I think you wrote these, but if you didn't, correct me. But
Yeah.
what are we thinking they're a survivor of? Now I'm aware it's up to the player, it can be open, but like what was the inspiration for having a haunted and a vengeful survivor? Maybe that'll help us.
So yeah, I think it got to putting in vengeful survivor. I was just brainstorming and typing in whatever I thought of.
Okay.
But the original intent behind the haunted survivor was like somebody who endured something terrible and is like, that's now a core part of their identity in terms of like and probably like the only, I think originally we had it as like the lone survivor. Somebody who was the only one who survived when the werewolves attacked their camp. Right.
Yeah. That's cool.
And then, so I think taking out vengeful, like they could be vengeful. Like my thing could now be like, and now I'm gonna kill every werewolf I see.
Right.
Or it could be, and now every time I see a werewolf, I turn myself into a bat, and I'm out.
Mm-hmm. So if it's lone survivor, then a player can play that character as haunted, as vengeful, as
The loner weirdo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because loner weirdo is still in maybe. So
I mean, that could take up that.
yeah.
What about soul survivor?
soul survivor, because then we can use loner weirdo if we want to.
And also alliteration, which is prime superhero shit.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh God, do we need to alliterate all of these?
No, please,
no, Doug, not this episode, Doug.
Get out of here. No,
Stanley's favorite writing style.
I'm backing off. I'm back. I learned last time. I'm backing off.
So, did we get rid of Vengeful then? Because yeah, we did. Okay,
Yeah.
Never mind. I was just double checking. Silver Spoon. I like that. Maybe Trust Fund.
Oh, but
Unlikely ally.
should we do reluctant hero?
For
Unlikely ally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if unlikely ally is supposed to catch bully and loner weirdo, then I don't think reluctant hero communicates that same thing.
Oh.
You're right.
So
True.
if you want to do reluctant hero, I'm fine with that, but I think then that pushes bully and lone weirdo back into things more for me.
Well, I think unlikely ally captures reluctant hero. Like, why is it weird that you're working with them? because I do not want to be a hero. I want to be left alone and I want to lead my life. I love these people, but I hate this. Like,
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
also captures like I think of people like Bakugo from My Hero Academia, whose powers constantly get harped on him as like being extremely violent and dangerous and seen as like bad guy powers because he just blows stuff up, and people are like, well, like, you don't need to kill the villain every time, but like you're a bomb. So it also captures people who, if they want to play like, my powers are extremely violent and extremely dangerous, and like me showing up to a fight is like, oh, I could die.
right.
It's kind of like also thinking of like the loner weirdo and like this one together. Just to get an idea, the delinquent from Mask is very like that sort of aspect too. I know we're not like taking exactly from other books, but like it's good to read them and like get inspiration.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like the unlikely ally captures a lot because you can bend in so many ways, because you could be like that also lets people dip into if they want to be some kind of like anti-hero flavoring or something, and they want to team up with like these just hero team or whatever.
I feel like loner weirdo is that.
Yeah.
The unlikely hero?
The reluctant ally. Or unlikely ally.
Okay.
There's so many words.
So many
Words are hard.
Just words.
So we all like unlikely ally, it sounds like. Are we just trying to decide if it also encompasses loner weirdo?
No, I think it does. I was saying if we switched it to reluctant hero, I didn't feel like it encompassed the other two.
I think that's right.
What about bully? Does it also encompass bully maybe?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, why is it weird that you're working with them? I used to pick on Peter Parker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like unlikely ally.
Yeah, and we made sure the questions point towards what we want them to point towards.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So I think we're good with Silver Spoon, right?
Silver Spoon, I don't know about it's alliteration, yes. But also a trust fund?
But trust fund is like a thing, not a person, right?
That's true. But also Silver Spoon's not really a
right.
Yeah, Silver Spoon is the description for a type of person.
Yes. So
like trust fund baby, if we wanted to change it.
Trust fund kid.
Yeah.
But I feel like trust funds are more after 2000s and not 80s.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
kitty
cat. Yeah, I feel like
this is one of the noisy ones.
I get what you're saying of like, what if it's like trust fund kid or something, like make it clearer, but I feel like Silver Spoon, people can more often think of like the person, and not, you say trust fund and people think of like hedge fund managers.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, I think Silver Spoon, and we have a little bit of
okay, let's take a Silver Spoon then. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a show called Silver Spoons, for crying out loud, right?
Yes.
Oh, was there?
Yes, there was.
Oh,
I'm gonna look it up right now.
I didn't know that.
Silver Spoon,
I know a lot about shows.
TV show.
Not that I'm recommending.
It's 80s.
Watch it.
No, it says 2014. Oh no, it does say 80s. Hold on.
Yeah, it's 80s. I mean, maybe they redid it, but
1982 to 1986.
But
Syndicated.
Netflix says there's one in 2014.
God, it lasted 4 years. Oh my god.
They probably went up in 2014.
Hold on, I'm looking at the 2014 one right now.
Reruns and syndication.
So former sidekick, I think, is good and makes sense. We just have to put a note, only use this if powers are already established, right?
Right.
Right, yeah.
Not of this world.
Well, unless like it's super secret.
Like they're the one entrusted with all the information.
Right. Like it was just me and my mentor, and we were like super secret about it. Nobody knew, and things went south on that. And so now I'm hiding out in this town as.
Well, I guess sidekick could sum up a lot of things too, like an apprentice or.
True.
Yeah, so I think that one's good. We love Not of This World. I think I'm a little bit hung up on overshadowed relative.
Sure.
Relative, I think, is the part I'm stuck on. So I was looking up some synonyms for that.
So I was thinking that also captures somebody like Supergirl, right? Like in DC Superhero Girls, which I watch a lot of because of my daughter.
It's good.
It's really good.
It is.
Her whole thing is like, my cousin Clark is like so much more famous than I am.
Well, relative, I think my problem is relative usually refers to somebody else. So I wonder if kinsperson is maybe better.
Did we move away from sibling because we thought that boxed folks in too much?
Yeah, because you could be the it could be your uncle or father or your mother, whatever.
Or that one older cousin who's just so good at everything.
Darn them.
And they now have superpowers? What the hell? Like,
life is unfair.
It's a minor thing. Or maybe relation, overshadowed relation is a better way to phrase it.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem quite like it.
I don't.
I'm Googling words.
Yeah, I was looking up other things for relative. Kinsperson or kinfolk.
Related.
Kind of.
Overshadowed kin?
Kindred.
It just reminds me of vampire, if that's because.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a little bit as I said. I was like, oh, it could be vampires. Yeah.
Why is kissing cousin one of the suggestions?
Not do that.
That's it now. Overshadowed kissing cousin.
No.
Nope. Shut it down. Shut it down.
We all have a veto card. I'm using mine.
So what? Okay, so someone run it back for me because I zoned out because that's what I do. Hey, what's up? You're a fly in the wall viewer.
You've had a long day, Austin.
I ate dinner at 9:35. And I didn't eat lunch. I realized. Why are we walking back from overshadowed relative? What do we not like about it?
The word relative, we seem to be stuck on, so we're trying to find other words just for relative.
Maybe we should just pin it for now and maybe come back to it later.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think relation works.
Relation, is good.
Overshadowed
it could also be in your relationship with somebody you're overshadowed.
Like maybe it's your best friend.
So we want to open it up. We feel like relative is still too boxed in.
Well, I think of relative as referring to somebody else, where most of these are referring to me as the player.
Yeah,
Well, wouldn't that be, if we're trying to capture the idea of you feeling overshadowed, wouldn't it even be adequate that it feels like you're overshadowed in your identity? Like if your identity is I'm an overshadowed person, isn't that what we want? Because if we try to make it about you, then I feel like it gets hard. Like I feel like you just turn it down to like overshadowed, like period. Because you have to refer to the person overshadowing you in the trope.
For sure.
Yeah.
There's no way around that.
Yeah, it felt more natural to me when it was overshadowed by relative, but we're trying to keep it to 2 words.
Gotcha.
I think we pin it.
Yeah, just...
Okay.
Yep. I think Redemption Seeker is probably good.
Would a Redemption Seeker? No, it probably wouldn't fall underneath Unlikely Ally, but there can be overlap.
Like, it could.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't have to. Right?
It doesn't have to.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. They're a Venn diagram, not a pancake. So.
Yeah.
Like, I think you could be a class clown and still want to work into your backstory. Like, oh yeah, my cousin's like super mixed super guy. We don't know what people want to do when they want to use this as their table.
Yeah. Goody good or do gooder?
Goody goody. Yeah.
Goody goody.
I like goody goody.
Oh, was it goody goody? Yeah, that was goody good.
I've always heard goody goody.
I always heard goody good.
It might it might be a cultural depend on where you are and stuff.
Right.
Because I've heard both. I don't think there's a wrong. I do not think there's not a wrong one.
No, agreed. I don't think there's a wrong
I
one.
like Morgan is now Googling it. She's like,
Google it.
I'm wrong.
I mean, I think
I'm
goody
right.
goody comes from goody two shoes, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's goody
that's
two
what I
shoes.
assumed. Yeah, I always assumed that. Yeah.
Yeah, everything's pulling up goody goody, so I don't know.
Mhm.
Also,
You're
there's
not wrong.
Wait, no, there's
It's
a
just
goody
diff-
good now. I found another one.
I don't think anyone's saying you're wrong.
No, I'm
Do-
just curious, like where
do we have to ask the
line
chat?
has happened. Chat, is it goody goody or goody good?
And chat, while you're at it, overshadow overshadow us, chat.
It's funny though. In the descriptions for goody good or oh God, no, it screwed up. No, it says goody good. It has a definition of part 2 is goody goody.
Got him.
Okay. Oh, someone says always overshadowed. Sorry, we can go back. Thank you, chat. They're being awesome as per usual.
Oh, we also got rated. Hello, thanks Raiders.
Oh
Hi,
yeah,
Raiders.
thanks.
Hello.
Hey Raiders.
What's up?
Welcome to our chaos. Also, have you heard of goody goody or goody good?
Good, yeah. You also weigh in. JB's the best. Just shout out JB. Okay.
Cat.
All
Hello,
right.
Cat. We're moving on because regardless of if it's goody goody or goody good, I'm gonna say both are right. We want to keep the trope, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Escaped experiment.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I love that one.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, Beast Boy. There's
Thanks,
yep,
Young
that
Justice.
was great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
1000%.
Yeah. Are we in agreement on that one? Nick, do you
Yeah.
like that one?
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, did
I'm
we lose
putting-
Doug?
No, I'm here.
Oh,
there you
good.
are.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's such a good one.
It is.
Oh, so can we just maybe do goody two shoes instead of goody?
We could.
Look,
What?
even though goody goody won, still.
We could do goody two shoes.
As long as that ant doesn't try to sue us. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a strength, I think, or an improvement in Teens in Space, but I think it's fine.
Oh, goody two shoes.
Was it?
What?
Oh, that's ship upgrades. Boy, what a large appendix this book has.
Who did this?
I mean, it's great. Everyone should get this. Yeah, it's goody.
Your water.
There's a
Oh,
there's
wait.
a cat.
You mean this one?
This one right here, folks.
Yeah.
Folks.
I didn't take out my copy that I have.
The one we should have called Kids in Space.
Lesson learned.
Hey, luckily you still had some very talented folks.
Yeah,
Right,
you
for
had
this
some
one.
amazing writers for that.
Some great writers for the alien species.
You're not helping, Cat, at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Listen,
Escape. I'm sorry.
Right.
Escape is. Are we on to Showboat? Formerly Flyboy. Austin, this was Flyboy,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
now it's Showboat because Flyboy reminded some of us. I hope I'm not getting this wrong. Of space.
Yeah.
Like
Well, it
too
was from Teens in
specifically.
Space. Yeah.
So
Okay.
Showboat is our thought now for that trope.
That seems
Yeah.
fine. Are we? That's okay because it's 2 words, even though it's 1 word.
No.
Oh.
Put a
Doug's
space,
not
put a space
happy.
in it.
We'll get there.
Selfless showboat? Oh no. Selfish
No.
showboat?
Yeah. Well, I'm on it.
Who made it 2 words?
I'm on it. Don't worry. I got it. Keep going down the list. Go to the next one. I'm on
I love
it.
the huge space.
Show boats.
Boat.
Go. Wait for it.
Wait
Boat.
for it.
I think wait for it should be a strength or a move or something like.
Mhm.
Yes.
Go. Drink your water. Not mine.
But your water tastes better.
Probably.
Should it be like charming showboat, or that? I mean, that has a stat in the name. That's not great.
Yeah.
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 Whoa. I was looking at synonyms for showboat. I got hot dogging. Okay.
Whoa.
Oh,
Whoa.
hello.
No.
Berserker, cowboy, madman, devil. What? Merriam-Webster, I'm sorry. What do you think showboating means?
Who hurt you, Merriam-Webster?
Something different.
Showboater. Oh, you mean Satan. Whoa.
Wow.
What?
Woo, that is
Oh, how
taking a
did we get
turn.
there? That's a-
Right.
Big talker?
Like what would be another good term for like swagger?
As in boast?
Yeah, like
Boastful showboat?
Boastful showboat.
Yeah, that seems like
is that too much
weird.
in your mouth?
Yeah.
It is a lot. It is a lot.
It is a lot of words. Oh, here's brag.
No, peacock isn't what I want here.
Crow? Why is crow a synonym for showboating?
You're crowing. You're crowing on.
Crows like announce.
Boast, gloat, bluster, exult. Gasonade? Gasonide?
Yeah, I just saw that one too.
Blah, blah, blah.
Is it grandiose? Is that what you mean?
No, it's Gasconade.
GAS?
Yeah, Gasconade.
No.
That's what it says.
No, I don't care
Austin,
what it says.
no.
I don't
Kristen,
care
I think that's-
what it says.
I think that might be a good one. Show off.
Show
Super
off.
simple.
Show off, showboat? No, we
Show off.
Just
show
Gasconade
off.
means extravagant boasting, or to boast extravagantly.
We could be it might be that game with like a one weird word, and then everyone's like, "What is that word?" And then everyone's going at the table.
What's that word?
Flaunt is so close, like flaunting showboat.
What about show off?
Flaunting show off.
Show off showboat.
Is show off not enough? Okay, what are we defining as two words?
Adjective noun.
Adjective noun.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
goal.
Mad libs it, go.
Oh my god! All right, okay.
Or we pin it.
Can it?
Okay.
The wheels
I
have come off
one
the
last.
bus.
I have one last suggestion. It's a synonym for gasconade. Cock-a-doodle-doo.
That's it.
And we're
Doodle-doo.
moving on.
We're moving on. That's it. Chat, deal with it. That's the new name of the show.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Misunderstood punk. We already. Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
And that's 20. 20 is a nice round number.
yeah, I like round
Yeah.
numbers.
Okay.
But that does put our maybes, the bully and the loner weirdo. We do have to think about those.
Yes.
I feel like they were encompassed, correct?
I think
so.
Unlikely
Were.
ally we talked about.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
on the fence about if they're encompassed or not.
Yes, agreed.
I'll put a note in here.
I guess I would say if we wanted to put them in, I would think about unlikely ally because then unlikely ally can really fall into so many things.
Yeah.
So it
Because-
turns into what do you want to push that towards is like what it's doing, because I feel like if we throw in two unlikely ally tropes, then it turns into like, well, why do you have unlikely ally?
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I'm still looking at showboat words, and why does it say
Morgan, please pin it.
And you're sold on cock-a-doodle-doo, right?
no? It's there's a so I'm in
Cock-a-doodle-doo,
nouns.
Morgan. We decided.
Wienerwurst,
Uh-huh,
Georgia
good.
hot.
Right. Yes, perfect.
Why are all these like hot dog names? Like Coney Island, and why is Expeditious right next to ham?
Expeditious ham. There's our one. All right.
No, expeditionist. Like they're
Wienerwurst showboat. Done.
Okay.
Anything else on tropes that
Okay,
has
yeah, this
nothing to
tab.
do with showboat?
No, all my comments are showboat related.
Yeah, I'm looking at synonyms showboats and absolutely not.
I'm done. I
Pop
don't know
over
why.
to.
Oh, God, why are hot dogs? so
Yeah.
Should we
Okay.
pop over to strengths?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I popped over the ones that I thought would fit from bikes and space. The ones in brooms were mostly captured by bikes. Were all captured by bikes. And then some notes on all that. Not on all of them, but on some of them.
Oh, did you not want to add in is there the ones from brooms, or did you not think they would fit?
So the ones from brooms are mostly the ones from bikes.
Okay.
And then there were ones that have to do with, sorry, you're getting a lot of background noise from me.
Baby.
Okay.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Everybody upstairs is like screaming at the Olympics. Yeah, but most of the strengths in brooms are the same as in bikes, or they have directly to do with magic.
Okay.
So, so a couple of the questions go ahead, Austin.
I just said okay. Very delayed.
Okay.
Should we just go down the list that seemed to work
Sure.
kind of last time?
Are these in alphabetical order? No. Wait, actually, no, they are.
Oh.
They are.
Okay. That was a close one, Doug.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Hold on.
Oh, well, I was going to say cool under pressure, but Doug's serious face is on, so he's doing
No,
something.
go for it. I'm moving stuff so that it's in alphabetical order.
You don't have to put the space ones in. Okay. All right.
Cool under pressure.
Yeah.
Good strength.
Yeah. Do we want to? Are we keeping the same? Like, are we not writing the description for it? Or are we just doing going off names?
Yeah, I didn't write the description in. I cool under pressure is you gain 2 adversity tokens when you fail instead of 1. Wait, no.
That's
It's that
hold on.
you
I'm
can
pulling
spend
it
an adversity token to take half of your
dice value instead of rolling your snap
instead of
decision.
rolling for a snap decision.
Ah, that's what they're doing on Dimension 20. Okay. Or it sounds like it.
What's that?
Austin, remind me, for Dimension 20 for the Misfits and Magic, they're just what is it?
They've been taking in Misfits and Magic, they've been doing it might be a home rule, but they will take half their die value if the difficulty is like at half or under for something they're rolling.
If it's a planned action, that's canonical, yeah.
Then yeah.
Okay.
Like if I have time to think about something, then I can just like relax and figure it out. Yeah.
Sweet.
I
was like, oh, that reminds me of that. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Easygoing is gain 2 adversity tokens when you fail instead of 1.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you want me to type these in the notes, or are we just going to go off what's in the book?
We just go off what's in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really took my eye out there.
Unless we want changes, right? Unless we want to make
Yeah.
changes
Okay.
to them for some reason.
Okay. Bueno,
What
bueno,
are
bueno.
Gross.
Gross? Question mark?
Yeah, I don't know if we want to keep that.
Yes, absolutely.
I guess
I mean, they're kids.
I guess it depends on what kind of game you want to play, and if you do,
Yeah.
then it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You just got
Yeah, I think
with
it's
your
pivotal
armpit.
for like the class clown.
Yep.
Yeah.
Intuitive. We have a note on change to keen sense question mark.
Yeah, so I dropped out heroic since I don't know if we want to have fears in this one. Because that
Well, I think we talked about that earlier. We do because we want flaws, right?
Flaws,
right?
definitely. I mean, some flaws could be fears.
Right.
Yeah.
But then I don't know if we want a mechanical way for somebody to ignore that. Like I wouldn't want a player to like take, well, I'm deathly afraid of spiders. And so, but now I'm also going to take heroic, so I'm good to go. You know what I mean?
Heroic does
Yeah.
have limitations because you have to have the adversity tokens to spend.
True. But if we're going to make those flaws like a really strong knife for the GM to use, I don't know that we would want to do that.
So
But I don't
John
know.
mentioned earlier how kids on bikes and the powered buys get a lot of first-time players. So if I'm a first-time player in a superhero game and I see heroic, I'm taking heroic because I think I need it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So
Maybe if we can like rename it like something else other than heroic.
you said you already took it out, Doug?
Yeah, it's not even in there.
I hadn't put it
Yeah.
in.
Unless we want it, do we want another maybe list?
We can come back and see if we feel like we need it.
Cool.
It doesn't hurt to just put it down there as a holder.
Yeah, I think Doug's on it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not touching the spreadsheet. I will mix things up.
Loyal.
Did we finish intuitive? Oh,
Loyal's a good one.
Yeah, so intuitive is spend an adversity token to ask the GM about your surroundings,
Mhm.
an NPC or the like.
I was like, yeah, we changed it to keen sense question mark,
Okay.
and then we talked about heroic, and I wasn't sure why, Frank. I was lost in the sauce.
I was also
I
lost.
think
And
we,
I was like, wait.
I think we just jumped. We just jumped to
okay.
heroic for some reason. Yeah.
So
So-
I think we want to be very careful not to name these and make them sound like a superpower.
Yes.
Is my
Does keen sense doesn't
Well-
like a superpower?
yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so this was actually something I was thinking about with powers. So I don't know if we want to get.
Oh, Doug,
Doug?
you froze.
Doug, come back.
Am I back?
You're
There you
back.
yes.
Okay.
All right.
Nope.
Now you know.
Yeah.
Doug.
Doug's internet said
God
absolutely
damn
not.
it.
Oh wait,
There
now
you
you're
are.
back.
Now you're here.
Okay.
Now you're here.
Okay, I'm going to talk fast then. So one of the things I was thinking about was that a lot of times with superheroes, they have like a power that a person couldn't possibly have, but they also have something that they're really good at, that like they're at peak performance of, like something that they that like a regular human could have.
Yeah,
right?
like,
So like
keen sense is a good one. Like if we're going off that, like someone could just be like really perceptive. There we go. That's the word I was trying to get
Right.
out.
right, and so like possibly have, but he also has a really keen sense of smell, which like a person could have.
Mhm.
True.
And so I don't know if we want to give people like have players pick a superpower, but also like an everyday thing that makes them
Unique.
unique but not superhuman yet.
Yeah, I think we still want them to have the normal amount of strengths. Like we don't want them to be less.
Sure. So what I'm saying is I wonder if stuff like being like, so wealthy is another one. Like wealthy is like Batman level wealthy is like an everyday superpower. Like he can do all kinds of stuff because he's a billionaire.
Mhm.
But it doesn't make him superhuman. I mean, there's the whole thing about Batman where he's not, but
Okay.
so I don't know if that's making sense, and I don't know if I'm cutting in and out.
No,
You're not-
you follow.
Okay.
I follow.
Yeah.
I think. we
And so
both follow.
keen senses might fall under that. Like you have one sense that's really, really heightened. Like you can see
Mhm.
light outside of the visible spectrum because you have an extra cone in your eye.
Mhm.
Or
Okay,
like
so-
you have an eidetic memory or something like that.
So I'm not 100% following. I'm sorry. So are we thinking we're going to have the strengths that are listed here that are kind of speaking to the kids, teens, or adults in their like typical life, and then something like keen sense and a power? Or are we so 3 lists?
Yeah, so you would pick 2
Gotcha.
strengths. You would have your like mundane superpower, or like your possible like physically possible superpower, and then you're like, I can teleport superpower.
Cool.
I don't know if the middle one's super interesting.
The keen sense type of the mundane
Yeah.
power.
Well,
Is that what you
I
said? Doug?
guess-
Sorry.
They're called perks in Champions, I think it is.
Oh, perks. Okay.
Other games, and then Champions is the only game that Mutants and Masterminds has a similar thing. I can't remember what they called them there, but they definitely have these weird low tier things. Yeah.
Have you played that, Nick? What did you think if you did play?
But the Champions,
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if I ever played in the Champions games where we used perks, and the fact that I can't remember itself.
Fair. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, so
I guess what I think of so I play a lot of 5e, and so I think of like feats, like
Mhm.
features, like
Yep.
which is a similar thing where me as someone who plays a lot likes them because it makes me feel unique, and like I have
Mhm.
like, yeah, I can like shoot an arrow across like the entirety of the curvature of the earth, but I also am a really good cook. But like that's something that
Right.
I've really dug into as like a quote unquote veteran player or whatever, right? Because I've played so many like basic things that I'm like, I want to feel more unique.
Mhm.
So I think it could appeal to people, but then like people who this is their first time playing a thing, like it may I don't know. So I think
Well, I feel like the like being a really good cook is like under strengths, like skilled at cooking.
mhm.
Yeah, I think being really good at cooking wouldn't be. I mean, Austin, you're talking about like the gourmand feat, right? 5'8".
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this would be more like I just brainstormed a whole list. Like I'm one of the 10 best violinists in the world.
Yeah.
Doug, did he freeze again?
Oh, did he freeze again? I thought he was thinking.
Nah.
I was looking
Christ.
over here. You're back.
All right. So like I'm an expert marksman. Like I could,
Yeah.
Doug Lewandowski could become an expert marksman. Like I could learn speed reading. I could be a master forger. I could be like an expert at espionage.
Right.
So is there so I like the idea of like having this like that kind of thing. Is there a reason why we don't want it to be like instead of calling them strengths, we reason want it to be this instead? Like have that be one thing and then have your power.
For
Like,
me,
go ahead.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
So for me, two reasons. One, it feels like a tier above a strength.
Mm-hmm.
And two, most of the strengths interact with either adversity tokens or stats in a particular way.
Yeah.
And this would be just something different. Like this would be more central to your identity.
Okay.
Whereas the strengths are like your character and my character could both be cool under pressure, but we're not both going to be like be teens with a PhD level knowledge of archaeology.
So let me ask two drill down questions on this.
Yes.
And then maybe we can evaluate from there. But one, is this something that every character would have?
Yes. I think in my conceptualization.
So every character is going to be a top 10 at something in the world, or
no,
exceptional at something.
Yeah.
Okay. This will also require its own rules section. Does it add enough to warrant that? Or, at least have its own write-up? Is this going to be worth a page plus in the rulebook? And that probably sounds meaner than I intended to be. This is just does this add enough depth for what it's going to add? Oh, did I lose everything?
No.
We're thinking.
Okay.
I don't know. Personally, I think so. For me, like it's interesting to me that it adds another layer to stuff that's interesting to me personally.
Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting as long as we don't overcomplicate it, right? Because we have strengths. We're already going to add powers. Well, kids or brooms did magic. Because brooms did magic, this would also help set it apart. We're not just adding powers, we're adding this mundane power. I know we'll rename it something else. As long as the mechanics aren't overly complicated, I do think it would be cool to have those types of mundane powers.
And I guess that's what I'm thinking is like mechanically, like, okay, so the strengths interact with like your mechanical, your dice or your tokens or whatever in some way. What do we want this to do besides be like another way to help you try and role play? Like what would it like?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Is what conceptually you think it would bring in? And I know that's hard to see because we have to, and this is what a hard thing of like building stuff, right? Because we'd have to build it out and build the mechanics and then play it.
Right.
To see, but I'm just wondering if anyone has an idea of like
what it could
look like.
It could give you it can either lower your challenge rating, right, your difficulty, or give you a bonus. So like in North Sea Epilogues, every character has a trait. And if you can explain narratively why your trait plays into what you're doing, it lowers your challenge rating. Okay, because you specifically character are Mark's shooter, or then this is now easier for you to do. So now either you get an extra die or we lower the difficulty. That's off the top of my head the first thing I think of.
And then but then I worry about like, aren't there any mechanics on like if you take skill that expert in or what have you? And I guess we could take those out, but then it's like if someone is wanting to play that kind of character in this system, usually they find the trope that they feel fits that best and where their dice land. And then I guess I'm like,
I rather kind of take those and work them into the strengths, I think.
Yeah, I think
rather than making it its own system.
I think what we're trying to do is just add a little bit too much, because
I worry that the strength list would be bonkers long then.
Well, we have
let's write it
suggested
up first.
strengths for every trope.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be used for quick play ever. It's only going to be used when you do the longer create your own character. And we kind of purposely avoided in Kids on Bikes having we didn't want skills to be like in D&D where it's like, I can swim good, so I just roll and get a bonus to rolling for that. Like we wanted them to be mechanical. So I don't know if this one had enough.
That's exactly what skill that is. It's a +3 when you're doing a check involving.
Yeah, skill that specifically is, but the whole list isn't.
Right.
It's not just list of everything a person can do.
Right.
Oh, I see. And you're saying you're worried that this could become that.
Yeah, and I just don't know if it's interesting enough because we have the cool mechanical strengths that do a mechanical thing in the game. We're gonna have superpowers.
I think that should be enough.
I don't know if the middle point.
I just feel like it's just adding on more things.
Like I think maybe if it comes down to it and we feel like it's lacking and we need something like that, we either figure out how to incorporate it into strengths or how to have a soft superpower right at the beginning of the game that functions like the superpowers that you're going to learn and use, but it isn't a full superpower.
And to get back to Kirsten's question about how in Champions, I think that the reason I don't remember is that the perks basically just got folded into it's a point buy system. So the perks just got folded into superpowers. They were just like, oh, this is just a cheap superpower that was handy for my character to have. It was so they kind of just vaporized into they just became another type of superpower basically.
Okay.
I like the idea a lot.
I do too.
And I want it to work. And that's why I was like, could it just like, would we, instead of like strengths, could we just do this? Because then you could kind of.
Could we just do this instead of strengths? Sorry, Austin, I cut you off because I liked your idea. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I that's what I was like. I was like, could it just be like this? And like, this like one of this game's like thing is like, you don't just like pick a strength. Like in other games, you have like these, but I don't know if that is shifting the system too much because I'm new here. I've never like worked like built in this system. I've only played in it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
For me, it would be because that was kind of a fundamental thing is that the strengths had mechanics directly behind them.
And you interact with your adversity tokens in a way that to me is way more interesting than, oh, I'm too short, 2 adversity tokens.
No, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But
totally makes sense.
Well,
are we sorry,
John, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Are we going to list out powers? Is it me or have we gone back and forth on this? Because if we're not going to have a list of powers, then we're not going to have 3 lists.
I didn't think we were listing out powers. I thought it was strengths, this like mundane power or skill, and then flaws, right?
Yeah.
Are those the 3 lists we're talking about?
I think that's the only we're writing for now because we're not going to write out powers because powers is just.
I just replaced powers and flaws. Apologies. Okay, I'm back.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I think we're going to catch a lot of flack if we don't list powers.
We can offer
that's my concern.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to have like a long suggested list, but not like, and if there's one you want to add, go for it. Not like it has to be one of these 40 or whatever. But like,
Okay.
I think if we just say like, and pick whatever power you want, people are going to be like, what do you mean pick whatever power?
That's fair, especially if we keep coming back to like the fundamental new players, right? That's important to remember. Okay, good point.
Yeah, and quick plays for conventions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You want
good point. Yep, I'm with you. Okay.
Something. This might be a horrible idea, but instead of having a list of powers, could we have this is dumping a ton of work on the GM though. But it's like you have a power, but you work with the GM to decide what the power is. Sort of like I'm thinking of the spells and kids on brooms. They're more open ended. Like I'm trying to target this effect with a spell, and you can go other places. But with the powers, I'm like envisioning. Okay, it's a more restricted version of a spell to some extent, and you work it out with the GM. So there's a section on how to do powers, but there's no list per se.
I thought that was like our meter thing that we're talking about. Are we talking about like powers in two different like wavelengths? Like are you talking about powers of like the things that they can do, or the powers they're trying to do?
No, powers are things you can do, like
Okay.
Magneto's ability to play with metal and stuff.
My brain went with things they're doing. So like for example, Magneto playing with metal, he's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna crush this like paperclip, no big deal. Hey, I want to crush this car, bigger deal.
Yeah.
Right.
I always want to crush cars.
I mean, same though.
That's my normal commute to work right there. Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's a good thing I'm not Magneto, is what I always say.
Yep. Yeah. When my brother and I are driving, if we're behind somebody slow, we'll go like this.
Yes,
and
I do that too.
It hasn't worked yet. It hasn't worked.
I do, just in case, right? Just in case.
I would be so upset if it actually...
you're going to lose your mind.
Oh no! Oh!
I feel like it would be oh no, oh yes, oh no.
Right, like trying to catch it.
Well, that's when you critical that one time and you learned your superpower.
That's it for this game. So
oops.
And then I'm a redemption seeker.
Yes. So if we feel like we're on a roll, I don't want to stop us. If we don't feel like we're on a roll, do we want to come back to strengths and make sure that next session is powers so that we can finish strengths tonight? If we feel like we're on a roll with the powers thing, I don't want to stop everyone.
My question.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
My question is, why are we separating? If we were to have two separate things, why would they be separate? Why would strengths in this? Why couldn't, for this situation entirely, strengths be like your Monday superhero thingy or whatever?
Well, I guess that's what I always thought of them as, was Monday
same here.
superpowers.
Yeah.
Like this is the thing that you can do that's specific to your character.
Yeah.
And not to the trope.
Well, I don't think strengths like even rise to the level of a superpower.
We could rename it.
Well,
instead of being
that's fine
strengths?
because that's why we have superpowers, right?
But like, yeah. I mean, if my choice though is like, well, and then think of Stargirl though. Like, even though they have superpowers, a lot of the stuff they're doing is kids on bike stuff. Right. But so one of the reasons is like, if my choice is between having like being an almost flawless marksman and having my adversity tokens count for 2 when I'm helping a friend, I'm taking marksman every time. If I'm like, I think then we're like sort of encouraging people to min max, especially if this is going to be combat focused.
But to me, that's just skilled at marksman.
Then I'm not explaining what I mean by these sort of like, I mean, I guess as a placeholder, call them perks, right? Like, I was thinking of them as much more powerful than that.
Okay, like there's a character in Thriller called Nicholas Salvatini. He can literally shoot a bullet out of the air. He's bulletproof because when someone shoots a bullet at him, he can literally shoot. He is such a good marksman, he can shoot the bullets and stop them in midair.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be
a great superpower. But yeah.
Right, that might be like at superpower level. This would be like Olympic level archer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. It's something that makes you an exceptional human, not something that makes you a superhero.
Right.
But
Or like an exceptional martial artist.
I'm just thinking, if we're playing just plain old kids that get these powers.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's the thing I was thinking is like, if you were.
Yeah, that's why I asked would every player have this power?
I was like, if you were a teen or an adult, you know?
Maybe?
But
yeah.
Because I see what you're saying, like an Olympic level archer. Yeah. a kid, if you're playing kids, would not
Be an
have
Olympic
that.
level archer, right?
Yeah.
Right,
Like for
They-
example,
They may have the aptitude, but
right.
They
they're
could be
not
a
gonna-
prodigy, right? They
like
could be-
Robin,
yeah.
Right, but
like
not
Robin when
everybody
he
would
first
be
started.
a prodigy.
Yeah.
Right.
Right,
Like-
right.
Robin when he was 9 and he started working with Batman, wouldn't have it. Robin when he's like 15 and a freshman in
Yeah.
high school, probably would have it.
Well,
Yeah, that's a
okay.
good
Let me ask you if we can do this, Doug, and maybe wrap it into something else. Can we just give every trope some kind of special power that would be like that? Like if you are the star athlete, you choose the thing that you're really good. Like, yes, I'm really good at archery.
Well, I mean, I think Morgan's
Near
right
Olympic.
that like if we're going off the like, hey, I'm nobody, and then all of a sudden I get this power and I'm somebody, it doesn't make any damn sense for them to be one of the top 10 physicists in the world, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
if we're going
Like-
for adult
Unless you're
superheroes
Peter
like
Parker,
Bruce
but
Banner,
yeah.
right?
Right. And
Well,
I see what you're
even
saying.
he's not top 10. Like
Right.
Yeah, and I see what you're
Right.
saying is like in the genre, there's a lot of that. Like Peter Parker's a nobody. He's also a super genius. And you're like,
Right.
wait, what?
Wait, how?
Yeah.
right. Well, he's a super genius, but that means like his brains are D20.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe
Yeah.
he takes a stat up on that. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
That's actually to Austin's way. That's actually one of the problems I've always had with the idea of Peter, the character, is that he develops this great web compound that he's always broke, but he has this web compound he could sell to make a fortune to finance himself. But it's like, wait a minute, it's like he's
It's all those photos of
He won't
himself
do
that he
it.
sells.
Listen, if he sells the web compound formula, then everyone knows that he's Spider-Man. It's very cool. I have a lot of feelings. about
It's-
Spider-Man.
Also, he has the money because he sold all the photos of Spider-Man.
Nick,
That's
it's like it's like the Crash Test Dummy song, Superman song, right?
Yep.
He could smash through any bank in the United States, but he wouldn't.
okay.
Yeah.
There's one of the things about the character I always have that problem.
Yeah.
It's more of where's he get? He made this in high school. How did he get the
Right.
formula? Where did he get the supplies? Who did he rob?
There's that too. Yeah, there's that too. Yeah.
Like a high school science lab does not have those chemicals.
Right. So one thought, and then Kristen, I think you're right. We should probably wrap up because I don't think we're going to get through strengths tonight. And I think there's stuff around powers that we
Do we need to finish up character stuff next week then?
Probs.
Or should
I'm
we
gonna
move?
but maybe, and I don't know if this is
Oh, Doug, you're super in and out.
Jesus, my brother's freaking internet.
Go fight him.
This internet.
Brother's
I'm-
internet. Oh.
So I think we're gonna be wrapping soon.
Oh, am I
Yeah,
still
I think this
freezing?
is probably a natural wrapping spot with Doug having internet problems.
Yeah, we can
I'll-
wrap it.
Yeah, I'll write this down and then I'll come back to it next week when I have stable internet.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries.
Perfect. And we can check on your house plant next week, Doug.
Absolutely, 100%.
Mhm. All right. Any homework that we should do?
Oh yeah, we normally do homework. I mean, should we just do stars and wishes like in chat or in a document to make things easier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let's just put them in the notes.
Okay, perfect. And we'll keep the same homework. I mean, we're going to do character creation, finish character creation, and continue our media binge of all things superheroes. Anything else,
Yes.
teachers? John
I
and
would say
Doug?
the
Oh,
creation. Am I still doing the thing?
Yeah,
you're
Yes.
back now.
you're back now.
Wait.
No,
I
we're
didn't-
lying, Doug. It's over.
We're lying.
Wait,
We're
now you're back.
absolutely
Now you're
lying
back.
to
Now you're
you.
back.
Listen, guys, this is an endless battle.
It's an endless battle.
Should we start thinking of a like our own characters because we developed a role? Should we like start
Oh, you think I'm not? You think I didn't
Yeah.
start? making
Oh,
this
relationship
game?
questions. Okay, so we're going to
Yes.
finish character creation, then relationships questions. That's what we'll do.
Do we also
That's
need
what
to
we'll
do
prep for
trope
next week.
questions as well? Trope questions
Okay.
as well.
Well, yes,
Relationship questions, trope
Well,
questions,
yes.
list of
We'll be back
superpowers.
with lots of questions next week.
questions.
Yeah.
So many questions.
So many questions.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else? Nope.
No.
No.
Okay. Thanks everyone for
Thanks,
joining
everybody.
us.
Sorry
Thank
for my
you.
internet.
Sorry for the
Bye
abrupt end.
bye.